Day 70, verses 18 to 20, Stillness within Action. Namaste and welcome to Gita 360. Earlier, Krishna introduced the ideas of karma, vikarma, and akarma. Today, the Gita redefines what it means to be busy and shows us what it looks like to live and work with an unburdened mind. Those who see inaction in action and action in inaction are wise among men. Although performing all kinds of actions, they are yogis and masters of all their actions. Krishna introduces an extraordinary way of looking at our behavior, seeing inaction in action and action in inaction. He says that the person who can perceive this clearly is truly wise because they understand the deeper nature of action itself. The verse asks us to look at life through two layers: what is happening on the outside through our actions and circumstances, and what is happening on the inside through our thoughts, intentions, and state of mind. Human beings often judge actions only by what is visible. We assume that movement always means action and stillness always means rest. But Krishna begins questioning this assumption. He suggests that the real meaning of action does not lie only in what the body is doing. It also lies in the inner state from which that action emerges. True wisdom, according to the Gita, is the ability to see beyond outward appearances and recognize what is actually happening within. Those persons whose every action is free from the desire for material pleasures and who have burnt the fruitive reactions of work in the fire of divine knowledge are known as wise. To make this paradox easier to understand, the Gita describes what a person who masters this mindset actually looks like. The Gita says that the truly wise are those whose actions are free from selfish desire and personal cravings. The verse uses a beautiful phrase, Jnanagni Dagdha Karmanam, which means their actions are purified or burned by the fire of true awareness. When actions no longer arise from personal cravings, ego, or the constant need to gain something for ourselves, they gradually stop creating inner clutter. Awareness brings clarity, and clarity changes the quality of action itself. Abandoning all attachment to the results of their activities, ever satisfied and independent, they perform no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of action. The Gita then describes the inner state of such a person, explaining how they interact with the world on a daily basis. They abandon attachment to the fruits of their labor and become Nitya Tripta, or eternally satisfied, and Nirasraha, independent of external supports. The Gita emphasizes that even when these individuals are abhipravarto, fully, intensely, and actively engaged in their duties, they do not perform any action that creates bondage, because they do not rely on external outcomes to make them feel whole or successful. Their actions no longer create the same inner burden that comes from constantly seeking results. They are active in the world, yet entirely self-contained. We often evaluate our lives based on how much work we do, how busy we are, and what value we bring. If we are rushing through our days, managing a chaotic schedule, or handling endless tasks, we conclude that we are in a state of intense action. If we are lying down or sitting quietly in a room, we conclude we are resting. But if we look a little closer at our lived experience, we realize how deceptive these external states can be. Sometimes we sit down to take a break. Physically, our body is completely still. Yet, underneath that stillness, our mind is racing, worrying about something beyond now. Even though we look perfectly idle to the outside world, we are in a state of action in inaction. The physical pause is an illusion. Internally, we are running a marathon. But sometimes we also experience rare moments of absolute flow. We might be in the middle of a high pressure situation. The world around us is moving fast, and yet, deep down inside, we feel a strange calm. We are completely anchored in the work itself. This is inaction in action. The external world is loud and moving, but the internal space is completely quiet. This is what Krishna is asking us to introspect on. The wise do not escape from life or withdraw from responsibility. Freedom does not require us to stop our lives, change our professions, or drop our family duties. The Gita is telling us that it is possible to carry around our normal workload while keeping our deepest core completely untouched, light, and still. Thought of the day. Stillness does not always begin when life becomes quieter. Pause for a moment today and reflect. Am I waiting for life to become peaceful? Or am I learning how to carry peace within life itself? Thank you for joining me on Gita 360. May we discover an independent inner anchor today, allowing us to act powerfully in a busy world without losing our peace.